Before we talk about the 3 natural drinks that may help support kidney health, we need to understand why the kidneys often begin to struggle as we get older. Because if you don't understand the problem, the solution won't make much sense. Think about your kidneys for a moment. These 2 fist-sized organs work around the clock, every minute of every day. They filter your blood, remove waste products, balance fluids, regulate minerals, and help control blood pressure. In a single day, your kidneys process an enormous amount of blood, quietly performing one of the most important jobs in the human body. The remarkable thing is that most people never think about their kidneys until something starts going wrong. As we age, especially after 60, the kidneys naturally experience some decline in function. This doesn't mean kidney disease is inevitable. It simply means that the kidneys become less resilient. They have less room for error. Habits that may have seemed harmless in our 40s can begin to create real problems in our 60s and 70s. One of the biggest challenges is the modern diet. For decades, many people have consumed excessive amounts of processed foods, refined carbohydrates, sugary beverages, and artificial ingredients. Every time we overload the body with these substances, the kidneys have to work harder to maintain balance. Now, when people hear the word toxins, they often imagine mysterious poisons building up inside the body. The reality is much simpler. Your body naturally produces waste products every day through normal metabolism. On top of that, we are constantly exposed to substances that the body must process and eliminate. The kidneys act as the filtration system that helps manage this workload. The problem occurs when the workload becomes excessive. High blood sugar is one of the greatest threats to kidney health. Over time, elevated glucose levels can damage the tiny blood vessels inside the kidneys. These delicate filtering units are designed to clean the blood efficiently, but when they are constantly exposed to high sugar levels, they can become injured and less effective. This is one reason diabetes remains one of the leading causes of kidney disease worldwide. But blood sugar isn't the only issue. Chronic dehydration is another major problem. Many older adults simply do not drink enough water throughout the day. Some avoid fluids because they don't want frequent trips to the bathroom. Others replace water with soft drinks, sweetened beverages, or highly processed drinks. When the body is not properly hydrated, the kidneys must work harder to concentrate urine and remove waste. Over months and years, that extra stress can add up. Then there is high blood pressure. The kidneys and blood pressure are closely connected. When blood pressure remains elevated for long periods, it can damage the small blood vessels that supply the kidneys, and when kidney function declines, blood pressure often rises further. It becomes a vicious cycle that many people don't even realize is happening. Another hidden factor is excess sodium. Processed foods are loaded with salt, often in amounts far beyond what the body actually needs. This contributes to fluid retention, higher blood pressure, and additional strain on the kidneys. What makes all of this challenging is that kidney problems often develop silently. You may feel perfectly fine while changes are occurring beneath the surface. There may be no pain, no warning signs, no obvious symptoms. That's why prevention and daily support become so important. The good news is that your kidneys are incredibly hardworking organs. They respond to healthy habits. Small changes made consistently can help reduce unnecessary stress and support the body's natural filtration processes. And one of the simplest places to start is with what you drink every day. The beverages you choose can either add to the burden on your kidneys or help support hydration, metabolic health, and normal kidney function. That's why in the next few minutes, I want to show you 3 natural drinks that stand out from the rest. And the first one may be sitting in your kitchen right now. Your kidneys work for you every second of every day. It's time to start working for them. Now that we understand why the kidneys can become overwhelmed over time, let's talk about the first natural drink on our list. In fact, this may be one of the simplest and least expensive habits you can add to your daily routine, yet many people overlook it completely. I'm talking about lemon water. When most people hear that, they're disappointed. They expect some exotic superfood from a remote mountain range or a supplement that costs a fortune. But the truth is that some of the most effective health habits are often the simplest. The real power of lemon water starts with hydration. Remember, your kidneys are filtration organs. Their job is to remove waste products from the bloodstream and eliminate them through urine. To do that efficiently, they need adequate fluid. When you're dehydrated, the kidneys have less water available to flush out waste. Urine becomes more concentrated, and the kidneys must work harder to maintain balance. Many adults, especially those over 60, spend much of the day mildly dehydrated without realizing it. Sometimes thirst signals become weaker with age. Sometimes people intentionally drink less because they don't want frequent bathroom trips. And sometimes water gets replaced with coffee, soda, sweet tea, or other beverages that don't provide the same benefits. This is where lemon water becomes so valuable. It encourages people to drink more fluids naturally. Adding fresh lemon can make plain water more enjoyable, which means you're more likely to stay hydrated throughout the day. But hydration is only part of the story. Lemons contain a natural compound called citrate. Citrate has received significant attention because it may help reduce the formation of certain types of kidney stones. Kidney stones develop when minerals in the urine become concentrated and begin forming crystals. Over time, those crystals can grow into painful stones. Anyone who has experienced a kidney stone knows it's not something they ever want to repeat. The citrate found naturally in lemons may help create an environment that makes it more difficult for some of these crystals to form. That's one reason healthcare providers often recommend increasing citrate intake as part of a kidney stone prevention strategy. Now, I want to be very clear about something. Lemon water is not a miracle cure. It doesn't magically reverse kidney disease overnight. It doesn't erase years of poor dietary habits. But what it does do is support the body's natural processes in a simple and practical way. And that's what we're really looking for. Small habits that help the body function the way it was designed to function. One of the biggest mistakes people make is turning a healthy drink into an unhealthy one. They start with water and lemon, which is great. Then they add several teaspoons of sugar. Or they purchase commercial lemon beverages loaded with sweeteners, artificial flavors, and preservatives. At that point, you're no longer getting the same benefits. The goal is simplicity. Fresh lemon squeezed into water, that's it. Many people find that starting the morning with a glass of lemon water helps establish a healthy routine for the rest of the day. After a night's sleep, the body naturally needs fluids. Beginning the day hydrated can help support normal kidney function and encourage better drinking habits overall. Some people prefer warm lemon water, while others like it cold. The temperature isn't the important part. Consistency is what matters. What's fascinating is how often people search for dramatic solutions while ignoring the basics. We live in a world that constantly promotes complicated detox programs, expensive cleanses, and miracle supplements. Yet the kidneys already have a built-in detoxification system. Their job is to remove waste from the body every single day. Our role is not to replace that system. Our role is to support it. Hydration supports it. Better nutrition supports it. Blood sugar control supports it, and a simple glass of lemon water can be one small piece of that larger picture. The people who see the greatest long-term benefits are rarely the ones chasing the newest health trend. They're the ones who consistently practice simple habits day after day, month after month, year after year. That's how health is built. So if you're looking for an easy place to begin supporting your kidneys, don't underestimate the power of this simple drink. Sometimes the most effective change is also the easiest one to make. A healthier kidney often starts with something as simple as the next glass of water you drink. As helpful as lemon water can be, there's another natural drink that deserves attention because it supports a different aspect of kidney health. And that's important because Protecting your kidneys isn't just about what happens inside the kidneys themselves. It's also about protecting the entire urinary system that works alongside them. That's where unsweetened cranberry juice comes into the picture. Now, most people associate cranberries with holiday dinners or sweet cranberry cocktails sold in grocery stores. But what we're talking about here is something very different. We're talking about pure unsweetened cranberry juice or cranberry beverages with no added sugar. And that distinction matters more than most people realize. One of the most common health issues affecting older adults is urinary tract infections, often called UTIs. These infections can begin in the bladder and urinary tract, but in some cases they can spread upward toward the kidneys. When that happens, what starts as a relatively minor problem can become much more serious. This is one reason maintaining urinary tract health is so important as we age. Researchers have studied cranberries for many years because they contain naturally occurring compounds that may help prevent certain bacteria from attaching to the walls of the urinary tract. Think of it this way. Harmful bacteria often need to cling to surfaces in order to grow and multiply. Some of the compounds found in cranberries appear to make that process more difficult. Now, it's important to keep our expectations realistic. Cranberry juice is not an antibiotic. It doesn't cure active infections. If someone has symptoms of a urinary tract infection, they should seek proper medical care. But as part of an overall healthy lifestyle, cranberries may help support urinary tract health and reduce the likelihood of certain problems developing in the first place. And prevention is always better than treatment. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming all cranberry drinks are created equal. Walk into almost any supermarket and you'll find cranberry juice cocktails packed with added sugar. Some contain nearly as much sugar as soft drinks. Unfortunately, adding large amounts of sugar completely undermines many of the potential benefits. Remember what we discussed earlier. High blood sugar is one of the major contributors to kidney damage over time. If you're drinking a cranberry beverage loaded with sugar every day, you may actually be creating another problem while trying to solve one. This is why reading labels becomes so important. The closer you can get to pure cranberry juice without added sweeteners, the better. Some people find pure cranberry juice too tart on its own. That's understandable. In those cases, you can dilute it with water. You still get the flavor, but without overwhelming your taste buds or adding unnecessary sugar. What's interesting is that cranberries remind us of a broader lesson about health. The food industry often takes something naturally beneficial and transforms it into something completely different. A fruit that may offer health-supporting compounds suddenly becomes a sugary beverage marketed as healthy. The label may look healthy, the advertising may sound healthy, but your body responds to what's actually inside the bottle. That's why I always encourage people to focus on real foods and real ingredients whenever possible. Another reason cranberries deserve attention is that they fit into a larger strategy of reducing stress on the kidneys. Every infection, every episode of inflammation, every metabolic challenge creates additional work for the body. Supporting urinary tract health may help reduce some of those burdens over time. Notice a pattern developing here. Lemon water supports hydration and may help reduce the risk of certain kidney stones. Cranberry juice supports urinary tract health and may help make it harder for harmful bacteria to gain a foothold. Neither one is a miracle cure. Neither one is a magic detox. Instead, they support the body's natural defenses. And that's often where the biggest health improvements occur, not through extreme interventions, but through consistent daily habits that help the body do its job more effectively. The truth is that your kidneys don't need miracles. They need support. They need less sugar, better hydration, fewer processed foods, and habits that reduce unnecessary stress on the system. That's why these simple drinks can become powerful tools when combined with an overall healthy lifestyle. And as useful as cranberry juice can be, the next drink on our list may be the most powerful of all when it comes to protecting kidney cells from the wear and tear of everyday life. Protect your urinary system today, and your kidneys will thank you tomorrow. We've talked about lemon water and how it supports hydration. We've talked about unsweetened cranberry juice and its potential role in supporting urinary tract health. Now it's time for the drink that many researchers consider one of the most powerful natural beverages for overall health, including kidney health. I'm talking about green tea. What makes green tea so interesting is that it doesn't work by simply increasing hydration or supporting the urinary tract. Instead, it may help protect the body at a much deeper level. To understand why, we need to talk about something called oxidative stress. Now that may sound complicated, but the concept is actually very simple. Every day, your body produces unstable molecules known as free radicals. These molecules are a normal part of life. They form during metabolism, exposure to pollution, poor dietary habits, smoking, chronic inflammation, and even the natural aging process. The problem occurs when free radicals begin to outnumber the body's defenses. When that happens, they can damage cells, proteins, blood vessels, and tissues throughout the body. Over many years, this wear and tear contributes to aging and may play a role in many chronic diseases. Your kidneys are not immune to this process. Remember, the kidneys are constantly filtering blood. Day after day, year after year, decade after decade. Because they are working continuously, they are exposed to many of the same damaging factors that affect the rest of the body. This is where green tea stands out. Green tea contains a group of natural compounds called catechins, which act as antioxidants. Antioxidants help neutralize free radicals before they can cause as much damage. Think of them as part of the body's maintenance crew, helping to reduce some of the cellular stress that accumulates over time. Among these compounds, one called EGCG has received particular attention from researchers. While scientists continue to study its full effects, many findings suggest that the antioxidants in green tea may support healthy cellular function throughout the body. And when you support healthy cells, you are also supporting the organs made from those cells, including the kidneys. But the benefits of green tea may extend beyond antioxidants alone. One of the recurring themes throughout this entire discussion is blood sugar control. High blood sugar places tremendous stress on the kidneys. Over time, elevated glucose levels can damage the delicate filtering units responsible for cleaning the blood. Some research suggests that green tea may support healthy metabolic function when combined with a balanced diet and healthy lifestyle. Again, this is not a miracle cure, and it's not a substitute for medical treatment. But every small step that supports metabolic health may also help reduce unnecessary stress on the kidneys. That's why I often encourage people to stop thinking about kidney health as an isolated issue. Your kidneys don't operate independently. They are connected to your blood sugar. They are connected to your blood pressure. They are connected to your weight. They are connected to inflammation levels throughout the body. When you improve one area of health, you often improve several others at the same time. Green tea fits beautifully into that larger picture. Another advantage is that green tea can replace beverages that actively harm kidney health. Think about what many people drink every day. Sugary sodas, sweetened coffees, energy drinks packed with sugar and artificial ingredients. Replacing just one of those beverages with green tea may significantly reduce sugar intake over time, and small reductions repeated every day create meaningful changes. Now, some people wonder how much green tea they should drink. For most individuals, 1 to 3 cups per day can fit comfortably into a healthy lifestyle. The goal isn't to consume excessive amounts. More isn't always better. The goal is consistency. A cup in the morning, another in the afternoon, simple habits repeated day after day. That's how long-term health improvements happen. Of course, if you're sensitive to caffeine or have specific medical conditions, it's always wise to discuss dietary changes with your healthcare provider. Health is never about finding one solution that works for everyone. It's about finding sustainable habits that work for you. And that's what makes green tea so powerful. It's accessible, it's affordable, it's backed by years of research, and it supports many of the same systems that help keep your kidneys functioning at their best. But before you rush off to stock your kitchen with lemons, cranberries, and green tea, there's something incredibly important you need to understand. Because many people make a critical mistake that completely cancels out the benefits of these healthy drinks. And if you don't avoid that mistake, even the healthiest beverage won't help you the way you hope. The greatest protection for your kidneys doesn't come from a single drink. It comes from the daily choices that surround it. Now, before we move on to building a practical daily routine, we need to address something that often gets overlooked. In fact, this may be one of the most important parts of the entire discussion. Because here's the reality. You can drink lemon water every morning, enjoy unsweetened cranberry juice during the week, and sip green tea every afternoon. But if you're making certain common mistakes, you may be canceling out many of those benefits without even realizing it. I see this happen all the time. People hear about a healthy food or a healthy drink and assume that adding it to their routine will automatically solve the problem. But health doesn't work that way. Think of it like trying to empty a sinking boat with a small bucket while water continues pouring in through a large hole. The bucket helps, but unless you deal with the source of the problem, progress will always be limited. One of the biggest mistakes is continuing to consume large amounts of sugary beverages. This includes soda, sweet tea, fruit punches, flavored coffees, sweetened energy drinks, and many so-called health drinks that contain enormous amounts of added sugar. People often underestimate how much sugar they're drinking because liquid calories don't create the same feeling of fullness as solid food. A single beverage may contain more sugar than your body needs for an entire day. Now think about what happens when this becomes a daily habit. Blood sugar rises repeatedly, insulin levels remain elevated, weight gain becomes more likely, inflammation increases, and over time, the kidneys are forced to deal with the consequences. Remember, one of the leading causes of kidney damage is uncontrolled blood sugar. That's why removing harmful drinks is often just as important as adding healthy ones. Sometimes the biggest health improvement comes not from what you start doing, but from what you stop doing. Another mistake is relying on sports drinks and energy drinks as if they are health products. The marketing is incredibly effective. Bright colors, words like electrolytes, performance, and recovery. But many of these products are loaded with sugar, artificial ingredients, and unnecessary additives. Unless you're engaged in prolonged, intense physical activity, most people simply don't need them. For everyday hydration, water remains one of the best options available. Then there's the mistake of believing in miracle detoxes. This one is especially common. Every year, new detox programs appear promising to cleanse the kidneys, flush toxins, and reverse years of damage within a few days. People spend hundreds of dollars on powders, teas, supplements, and cleansing kits. But let's think about this logically. Your kidneys already have a detoxification system. That's literally their job. The goal isn't to replace that system with an expensive product. The goal is to support the system that's already built into your body. Healthy habits work because they're sustainable. Extreme detox programs often fail because they're temporary. You don't improve kidney health by doing something dramatic for 3 days. You improve kidney health by making better decisions for the next 3 years. And perhaps the most common mistake of all is ignoring the bigger picture. People focus on one healthy drink while neglecting everything else. They drink green tea but continue eating highly processed foods. They drink lemon water but remain chronically dehydrated throughout the rest of the day. They choose cranberry juice but never address poor sleep, lack of exercise, or uncontrolled blood sugar. Health doesn't happen in isolation. Every habit interacts with every other habit. Your kidneys don't care whether the stress comes from excessive sugar, high blood pressure, chronic dehydration, poor sleep, obesity, or inflammation. They simply experience the cumulative burden. That's why consistency matters so much. The body responds to patterns. One healthy meal won't transform your health. One unhealthy meal won't destroy it. One healthy drink won't save your kidneys. One unhealthy drink won't ruin them. What matters is what you do repeatedly. Day after day, week after week, year after year. The people who maintain strong kidney health into their 70s, 80s, and beyond are rarely following complicated programs. More often, they've mastered the basics. They stay hydrated. They control their blood sugar. They avoid excessive processed foods. They maintain a healthy weight. They prioritize sleep. And they make these choices consistently. Not perfectly, consistently. That's the difference. So before you search for another miracle solution, take a close look at the habits that may be working against you, because removing the daily obstacles is often the fastest way to help your kidneys do what they were designed to do. Protecting your kidneys isn't about doing one extraordinary thing. It's about avoiding the ordinary mistakes that quietly harm them every day. As we come to the end of our discussion, I want to leave you with something practical, because information by itself doesn't change health. Action changes health. We've talked about why the kidneys become more vulnerable with age. We've explored 3 natural drinks that may help support kidney health. And we've uncovered some of the common mistakes that can quietly undermine even the best intentions. Now the question becomes simple. What do you actually do with this information tomorrow morning? The answer is not to overhaul your entire life overnight. In fact, that's often where people go wrong. They become motivated, decide to change everything at once, and create a plan so complicated that they can't maintain it for more than a week. Eventually, old habits return, frustration sets in, and they conclude that nothing works. The truth is that lasting health improvements rarely happen through dramatic transformations. They happen through simple routines repeated consistently. So let's imagine what a kidney-supporting day might look like. You wake up in the morning and begin with a glass of water, perhaps with fresh lemon added. After a full night's sleep, your body needs hydration. This simple habit helps replenish fluids and encourages you to start the day with a healthy choice. Then throughout the day, instead of reaching for soda or sugary beverages, you focus on drinking water regularly. Not because someone forced you to do it, but because you understand that your kidneys depend on adequate hydration to perform their job effectively. Later in the day, you may enjoy a cup of green tea, not because it's a miracle cure, but because you're replacing a less healthy option with something that contains beneficial compounds and supports overall metabolic health. Perhaps a small serving of unsweetened cranberry juice becomes part of your routine as well, helping support urinary tract health while avoiding the excess sugar found in many commercial drinks.